The top 10 most common genetically modified foods are corn, soy, cottonseed, papaya, rice, canola, potatoes, tomatoes, dairy products, and peas.
Scientists have figured out how to take genes from things and use them in food. An example of that is taking the gene that helps a fish swim into low temperatures and putting it into a fruit such as strawberries to make sure that it does not freeze.
There are 7 different processes by which you can genetically modify foods. The first of which is bacterial carriers, which is a type of infection that can go into plants. The type of gene that needs to be inserted into the plant is inserted into the bacteria. Then once that bacteria multiplies, it is put with the plants so that it will infect them and give them the gene that was inserted into the bacteria.
The second is biolistics, which is when DNA is shot into a target cell like it is a gun. First, the DNA is attached to a gold cell so that it can enter into the target cell.
The third is electroporation, where both the DNA and the cell being manipulated are put into a solution. Then a shock is used to make the DNA enter into the cell being manipulated.
Gene silencing is when the unwanted genes in something are taken out. This can be very helpful for eliminating genes that people are commonly allergic to.
Gene splicing is simply taking a piece of an organism and putting it in another organism.
Viral carriers is when the wanted gene is put into a virus that won't harm the DNA or the cell. And the virus then infects the cell with the wanted gene.
One pro to genetically modified foods is pest and disease resistance. Genetic modification of crops can produce varieties that are more resistant to pests and diseases, reducing losses and lessening the dependence on pesticides. For example, a gene that gives resistance to a fungal infection in a wild plant can be inserted into a food plant that lacks this protection. The crop is then less susceptible to this disease.
Genes that offer more tolerance can be put into the food. This can extend their range and open up new areas for food production. Crops may be forced to grow faster so that they can be grown in areas where the cropping season is shorter.
Another pro is that they can be made to produce more vitamins and minerals. This can help with problems regarding nutrition in some parts of the world. Amounts of proteins and carbs they contain can also be altered to make for healthier food.
Foods such as broccoli and spinach can be changed to taste better, which can encourage people to eat a healthier diet.
A con of genetically modified food is unexpected side effects. This is that if the food contains something not normally present in the human diet, it would make it hard to tell what the effects may be over time. Although genetically modified foods are rigorously tested, there may be some subtle and long-term effects that cannot yet be detected.
Large companies who genetically modify food want to make these farms worldwide. This would negatively affect the farmers who are working in third world countries. These farmers create 20% of the world's food. If genetically modified food companies were to take over these farms, the farmers would essentially lose all say and become robots for large companies.
Another con is problems with labeling of foods. Some customers may not be aware that they are eating genetically modified foods because it is not required in many countries to label it.
The Board of Agriculture of the National Academy of Scientists did an experiment on the production of genetically modified foods, and after doing 8,200 tests, they came to the conclusion that growing food naturally will create more food.